Welcome to Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of stopping by, you are highly welcome. Please, I beg you for this favor, click on that red button that says subscribe, and beside it is a notification bell. Turn the bell on. It's very important as it enables you to know when I upload a new video so that you will be the first person to check it out. I bring to you information about the globe, especially Nigeria to be precise. Now today I'm going to present to you another interesting video as we will listen and watch the video together. Let us watch.
Please be seated. The special guest of honor, Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General B.S. Magashiu, retired, the Chief of Defense Staff, General A.G. Olonishakin, Nigerian Army Medal, the Chief Host, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Bratai, Nigerian Army Medal, the Chief of Air Staff, ably represented here by Director of Plans, Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal E.O. Alade, former Chief of Defense Staff and Chief of Army Staff here present, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, the Director Army Ministry of Defense, the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, Principal Staff Officers from Defense and Services Headquarters here present, the Theater Commander Operation Lafia Dole and Commanders of various military operations here present, Corps Commanders, General Officer Commanding, Heads of Nigerian Army Establishment here present, Heads of security agencies here present, Your Excellency, Foreign and Nigerian Defense Advisors here present, the National President, Nigerian Army Officers Wife Association here present, senior officers, both serving and retired, distinguished invited guests, participants, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am Colonel B0KO Ogunsanya, the Master of Ceremony for today's occasion. On behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tiwa Bratai, officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to Muhammadu Buhari Military Cantonment, Giri, Abuja, venue for the commissioning of Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command Main Building, Cyber Operations Center, Nigerian Army Intelligence and Cyber Warfare School, as well as the launching of housing scheme for families of killed in action officers and soldiers. Most especially welcome the special guest of honor, Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, for finding time out of your busy schedule to grace this occasion, sir. We are indeed privileged and glad to have you in our midst this morning. The Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference is a yearly event which affords the Nigerian Army strategies and operation commanders the platform to reappraise how the service has fared in the performance of the constitutional roles during the year 2020 and also make projections for the year 2021. The theme of this year's conference is Human Capacity Development in Sustaining Professionalism and Responsiveness of the Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional role. without much of your time, sir, may I humbly invite the chief host in person of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai, to please deliver his welcome address. The Chief of Army Staff, sir. Your Excellency, the special guest of honor, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, the Honorable Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salimi Magashi, the Chief of Defense Staff, representative of the Chief of Air Staff, former Chiefs of Defense Staff and Army and Chiefs of Army Staff here present, the Chief of Policy and Plans, Army, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, heads of security and paramilitary agencies here present, the Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, and other commanders here present, the principal staff officers from the Defense and Services Headquarters, co-commanders, general officers, Commandant Nigerian Army Defense Academy, the Vice Chancellor, Nigerian Army University, the Commander Tradoc, Director General Daikon, Commandants of Child Service and Nigerian Army institutions here present, Director, Army, Minister of Defense, Directors and Deputy Directors at the Defense and the Services Headquarters, very senior officers, the National President of Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, my dear wife, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to, on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, heartily and most respectfully welcome Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, and all other distinguished personalities here with us today. We are indeed most grateful for honoring us with your esteemed presence at this opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff's Annual Conference year 2020. Today's event marks the sixth in the series of annual conferences since the advent of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Going down memory lane, it is worthwhile to recall the state of affairs in the Nigerian Army in early 2015, which was characterized by low morale arising from persistent setbacks in the counterinsurgency operations in the Northeast. Mr. President's charge on my assumption of duty was to evolve a professional and highly motivated Nigerian Army capable of conducting the full spectrum of military operations in a decisive manner. This has been largely achieved, with Nigerian Army currently well poised to tackle myriad of contemporary and emerging security threats. While this year has been quite challenging due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted many of our activities, I am happy to note that my strategic directive for the year 2020, which is to sustain professionalism and responsiveness of Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional roles, provided a point of reference which enabled us to adapt quickly with minimal impact on our operations. Within the period under review,
the Nigerian Army embarked on massive infrastructural development, undertook further force restructuring, conducted several local and overseas training, carried out various operations, as well as optimized logistics and its support elements, amongst others. Worthy of mention is the new 4th Special Forces Command, which has carried out impactful operations across the North Central region since its inception. We have also evolved seamless administrative measures and improved tremendously on welfare packages as approved by Mr. President to boost the morale of troops across the nation. Additionally, we have intensified our civil-military relations efforts and imbibed the best global practices in the conduct of our operations in line with the principles of laws of armed conflict, as well as promotion and respect for fundamental human rights. This was most evident in the professional conduct of troops during Operation Peace Shield, while in support of civil authorities during the large-scale criminality that ensued in the wake of the EndSARS protest. In the bid to enhance our overall performance, attempts will be made throughout this week to evaluate and appraise our activities and efforts so far towards achieving the overall objective of better positioning the Nigerian Army to face the tasks ahead in the year 2021 and beyond. As a responsive army, we are delighted to showcase to Mr. President our latest effort at in placing the requisite capability for full spectrum operations, particularly in the cyber domain. Mr. President, sir, we are indeed honored and delighted to have you in our midst to commission the headquarters Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command Complex. The command is a child of necessity, born out of our experiences in counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations in the last 5 years. I am happy to state that the command, since its establishment in 2017, has played a crucial role, albeit silent role, in all our operations. It is expected that the new complex, with upscaled capabilities, will therefore lead to further operational successes. Mr. President, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a high sense of responsibility and respect that I once again humbly express the Nigerian Army's profound gratitude to Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, for his invaluable support to the Nigerian Army. On behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, I once more want to humbly reassure Mr. President of our unalloyed loyalty and pledge our total commitment to the defense of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On this note, I welcome Mr. President and other dignitaries to this opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2020. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Will you please give the Chief of Army Staff another round of applause, please? Your Excellency, the Special Guest of Honor, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now in Series 14 of today's program, which is remarked by the Honorable Minister of Defense. May I have the honor to humbly request the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tiwa Brata, to please invite the Honorable Minister of Defense, in person of Major General P.S. Nagashi, retired, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, to make his remarks. The Chief of Army Staff, sir.
Special guest of honor,
President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammad Buhari, the Chairman, State Committee on Army, Chairman of House Committee on Army, other members of the National Assembly here present, the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief Air Staff, former Chief of Defense Staff, and the Army Staff here present, the Chief of Policy of Land Army, the Chief of Defense Intelligence Agency, heads of security and paramilitary agencies here present, Commander, Multinational Joint Task Force, and other commanders of the various military operations, principal staff officers, co-commanders, general officer commanding, commandant, Nigerian Army Defense Academy, permanent secretary, Minister of Defense, brigade commanders, and other commanders here present, Commander Trado, DG Daikon, Commandant of Tri-Service and Nigerian Army Institutions, Director, Army Ministry of Defense, Directors and Deputy Directors from the Defense and Service Headquarters, Senior Military Officers, both serving and retired, the Vice Chancellor, Nigeria Army University View, and other members of academia, distinguished invited guests, ladies, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am most delighted to be in your midst for the opening ceremony. Delighted to be here in your midst today for the opening ceremony of the 2020 Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference. As you all know, the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference is an avenue to reassess the preparedness and review the operational readiness of the Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional roles. I am hopeful that the deliberation during this conference will generate new strategies for enhancing stability in our country and to help in charting a new course for the Nigerian Army in the year 2021. In line with the mandate of the Ministry of Defense of ensuring high state of combat readiness of the armed forces, both on land, sea, and air, I want to appreciate most sincerely the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for his usual quick intervention in the approval of funds for the procurement of critical equipment and platforms for the armed forces. We are indeed most grateful for the enormous support given, which has provided the services with requisite capabilities to tackle the numerous security threats across the country. We are not unmindful of the present economic challenges that we are grappling with as a nation, as well as the needs of other critical sectors of our national life. It is against this backdrop that I want to assure Mr. President that the Ministry of Defense, under my leadership, has in place measures to ensure judicious use of resources allocated to us. The year 2020 has been a challenging one. While the COVID-19 pandemic caused major disruption globally, the security challenges that threaten the safety and security of lives and property in our country still persists. During the year, we continue to witness incidences of violence and criminality arising from Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, banditry and cattle rustling in the northwest, farmers' hardest conflict in the north central, as well as kidnapping, cultism, and armed robbery in the south. The armed forces of Nigeria, and the Nigerian army in particular, have been in the forefront of efforts to restore peace in the country. In this regard, I commend the efforts of the Nigerian army in the northeast, which have led to a gradual return of internally displaced persons to their communities in furtherance of the settlement plans of the Borno State government. I also note the successes that have been recorded in the northwest, especially after the launch of exercise Sahel Sanity earlier this year. I urge you all to use this conference to refine strategies towards the total dissemination of all umbilical forces in the coming year. At this juncture, I want to commiserate with armed forces and families of the personnel who have led the supreme price to keep our dear country safe. The nation is indebted to those heroes who have contributed immeasurably towards ensuring that we have a peaceful country. The Ministry of Defense will continue to work hard with the services to ensure that the welfare of the families of the deceased personnel and all veterans is accorded a higher priority. Before I end my remarks, I wish once again appreciate Mr. President for his commitment towards ensuring that lasting peace and security is restored in this country. I also urge the Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chief not to relent in steering the ship of our various services towards the accomplishment of the assigned role. Lastly, I wish you a successful deliberation during the training week. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Will you please give the Honorable Minister of Defense another round of applause, please? Your Excellency, the Special Guest of Honor, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to sit back and watch documentary on Headquarters, Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command and Cyber Operations Center.
Nigerian Army, as one of the leading armies of the world, regularly initiates and formulates policies and programs to bolster its operations and administration. With Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai taking the reins of leadership of the Nigerian Army in 2015, the transformation journey to a professionally responsive army in the discharge of its constitutional roles began. In line with this plan to place the Nigerian Army in the League of Internationally Renowned Armies in the cyberspace, the Chief of Army Staff established the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command (NACWC) in 2018.
The Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command was established in October 2018 by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai. This followed the realization that after land, sea, air and space, cyberspace is the fifth domain of warfare. At inception, the command was equipped with the latest and the best systems, tools and software. and manned by a crop of dedicated and well-trained personnel drawn from across the Nigerian Army. The command is tasked with the responsibility of protecting and monitoring critical Nigerian information system assets. The command also has the task of ensuring the presence of the Nigerian Army in cyberspace. The command also promotes the culture of cybersecurity among Nigerian personnel and ensures the compliance, adherence to guidelines, principles, and standards as related to cybersecurity. The command has the task of also ensuring that the Nigerian Army information system and other assets are safe. We have the task of fighting cyber terrorism, fake news, identity theft, online radicalization, among others.
On the 15th of October 2018, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai formally commissioned the NACWC at the Army headquarters in Abuja. The NACWC presence in the Nigerian security circle was cemented when the Chief of Defense Staff, General A.G. Olonishakin, other service chiefs and heads of security agencies visited the Nigerian Army Situation Room at the Army headquarters. Equally, the Senate Committee on ICT and Cyber Crimes visited the Situation Room and they were briefed on the operations of the NACWC. Charged with the responsibility to effectively combat cyber threats to the Nigerian Army Information System and Nigeria at large, the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command has achieved so much within a short period. It is worthy of note that with strategic directives from the Chief of Army Staff, the Nigerian Army Situation Room played very significant roles in providing a platform for real-time monitoring of field operations and passing needed information to field commanders during the 2019 general elections. To give the NACWC the much needed impetus to accomplish its mandates, the Chief of Army Staff graciously approved the proposal by the pioneer commander, Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command, Brigadier General Thomas Mnohua, for the command headquarters complex, which will include administrative office building with various cells and the Cyber Operations Center, COC, officers and soldiers' quarters, and the school.
This beautiful and magnificent edifice was purposely built to house the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command in a serene and conducive environment. And this place is well built, equipped, and furnished with the best systems and tools you can imagine to enable our crop of well-trained, highly dedicated and motivated personnel to work effectively and achieve the Quad's vision of having a professional, responsive Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional roles.
Today, the multi-dimensional complex, which was constructed in 12 months, is not only structurally completed, but well equipped with state-of-the-art cyber hardwares and softwares for efficient service delivery to the Nigerian Army and the nation. A tour inside the building will reveal the extent of work done. With this, the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command, NACWC, is poised to be a leading player in the cyberspace in Africa and the world.
The special guest of honor, sir. It is now time for the special guest of honor to make his remark. May I have the honor and privilege to humbly invite Your Excellency, the Special Guest of Honor, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, to make his remark, virtually declares the conference open, virtually commissioned the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command Complex, and virtually launched the housing scheme for families of killed in action officers and soldiers. Your Excellency, the Special Guest of Honor, sir.
The Chief of Staff, Honorable Minister of Defense, Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, and representatives of other service chiefs, Chief of Defense Intelligence, former service chiefs present, senior government officials, senior military officers, both serving and retired, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and duty to be here with you virtually today at the opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2020. I am aware that the purpose of this conference is to appraise the activities of the Nigerian Army in the year 2020 and make projections for next year. This conference also provides an avenue for the leadership of the Army to reassess its preparedness and operational readiness in carrying out its constitutional roles and get itself ready for next year's challenges. This sort of periodic self-assessment is vital in the accomplishment of the wondrous responsibilities and challenges facing our Army and the nation at large. The year 2020 has been a challenging one for many reasons. The outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic has impacted negatively on almost every aspect of our national life. Despite this, I am pleased to note that the Army remained resolute in the discharge of its constitutional responsibilities and in keeping the health and welfare of our soldiers a priority. The Army's support of civil authorities in the management of the coronavirus pandemic is a case in point. Also, the peaceful elections conducted in Edo and Ondo states would not have been achieved without the high level of professionalism displayed by all security agencies, including the Army. Let me also mention the End SARS protests, which were sadly hijacked by hooligans to cause wanton damage to lives and property in many cities across the country. I want to reiterate our government's commitment to the rights of citizens to embark on peaceful protests. However, this must be done responsibly and in accordance with the laws of the land. I also wish to state that any act of hooliganism behind lawful and peaceful protests will be dealt with decisively to ensure the peace and stability of our nation. On this note, I commend the armed forces for their efforts to swiftly restore law and order in various states during the large-scale criminality that ensued in the wake of the NSAS protests. Let me also use this opportunity to commend the Army for its unwavering commitment towards curtailing the activities of insurgents, armed bandits, kidnappers, cattle rustlers, and other violent criminals through ongoing exercises and operations in different parts of the country. Notably, the exercise Sahel Sanity, launched a few months back in the northwest states to rid the Katsina-Zamfara corridor of marauding bandits. I am happy to note that the commendable progress has been made towards attaining the objectives of the exercise. I have also been briefed about the tremendous successes that have been achieved by troops during the ongoing Operation Fireball in the Northeast. I charge you all to sustain these efforts until the full restoration of peace and security in the nation is achieved. During the period under review, I have followed with keen interest the Army's efforts at capacity building as exemplified in the numerous seminars, workshops, and field exercises conducted in 2020. I have also been kept duly informed of the Army's focus on revamping the existing training institutions towards the enhanced capacity building of its personnel. This underscores the choice of the theme for this year's Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference, which is Human Capacity Development in Sustaining Professionalism and Responsiveness at the Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional roles. I consider this theme apt because it is only through human capacity development that any institution can attain the level of professionalism needed to effectively and efficiently carry out its constitutional roles. Let me now congratulate the Army for holding this conference at this magnificent edifice housing the Army's Cyber Warfare Command with its state-of-the-art Cyber Warfare Operations Center. This shows that the Army is alive to the changing nature of warfare, which is gradually moving into the cyber domain. By the same token, I commend the visionary leadership that has worked assiduously to emplace this vital capability that will fill an existing gap in our nation's security and defense architecture. This and other numerous infrastructural projects that have been embarked upon in recent times by the leadership of the Army has shown good utilization of scarce national resources. I equally commend all efforts towards bringing succor to families of all our fallen heroes who paid the supreme sacrifice in our fight against insurgency and other forms of crimes across the country. this administration will not relent in its efforts to take adequate care of families and loved ones left behind by those who sacrificed their lives on our behalf. It is in line with this that the Army, as part of its welfare initiative and in line with the federal government housing program, is undertaking the housing scheme for families and next of kin of troops that were killed in action in the fight against insurgency and other criminalities in the country. I believe this initiative will act as a huge moral booster to the troops on the front lines, as well as project the Army in good light. On our part, I assure you that this administration will continue to do all within available resources to provide for your operational and welfare needs. I have been briefed that some of the major capabilities that we procured for the Army will soon be inducted into the various theaters of operations. I urge you all to make judicious use of these capabilities, even as we await the arrival of other currently pending shipment to the country. I wish to also remember our men and women in uniform who have paid the supreme sacrifice in the defense and security of our nation. My heart goes to all their families, comrades, and friends. As we pray for the repose of their souls, we must strengthen our collective resolve to address those issues that will make every part of our country a safe and secure place to live and carry out our normal businesses. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to formally declare the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2020 open. May I use this opportunity to also launch the housing scheme for next of kin of personnel of the Nigerian Army killed in action. I thank you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
Shall we take the national anthem, please?
Shall we all rise, please? Please be seated. The Honorable Minister of Defense, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on serial 19 of today's program, which is the presentation of brochure of housing scheme for families of killed in action officers and soldiers, and souvenirs, and also cut the ceremonial tape on behalf of Mr. President. On this note, may I humbly request the Chief of Army Staff
in person of Lieutenant General Tukuisu Buratai, to present first brochure of housing scheme for families of killed in action officers and soldiers, present souvenirs to His Excellency, the Special Guest of Honor. The souvenir will be received by the Honorable Minister of Defense, and thereafter present a souvenir to the Honorable Minister of Defense. The Chief of Army Staff, sir. Where is the book? Oh, it's coming. Thank you very much, sir. Next is the presentation of souvenirs to the Special Guest of Honor. It will be received by the Honorable Minister of Defense.
Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time or first day of coming across my YouTube channel or seeing my face, you are highly welcome. Herzlich willkommen zu meinem Kanal. Mein Name ist Linda Chukwueze. It comes as Miguel. That red button that says subscribe, and you turn on the notification bell so that you'll be able to get information on the.
Bis zum nächsten Video und einen schönen Tag. Tschüss.
Tschüss. Bis man subscribe to Linda's TV show. What are you waiting for? Click on that red button that says subscribe. You turn on the notification bell so that you'll be getting more updates from me. Leave your comments down below and share this video with your friends, families, and colleagues until we meet again in my next video. Bye bye.